Here we go. Let's get this thing started. Waiting for it to load. Okay, so welcome to the channel. Let's look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index right now. Let's do that right now. So right now, that is coming in at the level of 23. That is still extreme fear. We've been in extreme fear for a while. Last month, we were in just fear. We did get down all the way. I do think at one point it was down to 10. So this is technically a higher low on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. The last time we did this, Bitcoin was around $75,000. So if we don't lose these key levels, we'll be fine. Let me go to the 10-minute time frame and see what's going on. So at the end of the day, I see Bitcoin probably, hold on, I see Bitcoin probably going lower, unfortunately. Let me also go look at the Bookmap. So right now, Bookmap is suggesting, why is it not going full screen? Come on, really? Let me just reload it. We're live today. I don't know what the turnout's going to be. We're live today a day early because tomorrow I am busy. So I thought I'd go live today instead of Tuesday. But usually it's Tuesdays and Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Time when I go live. So the time's the same. The day is different. So if you look on the right, this is the daily time frame. You have a lot more orders and a lot more liquidity sitting down here at 83,000. And you have very few up here at 93. So the most likely level we go to next is a retest of 83,000. And then if you look at the weekly time frame, that is suggesting that we continue down to about $75,000. That is a huge chunk of liquidity right there at $75,000. And I don't see any up here to speak of except a very little blob at 120. The most likely level that we go to next in due time, maybe it takes a few days, but it's $75,000. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it looks like Bitcoin is going to get a move to the downside. If you guys enjoyed this video, appreciate if you guys hit the likes. It does help support the channel. And if you guys want to get notified every time I go live or post a video, you can join the Telegram group. It is free to join. The link to join is in the description below. But right now, it is just suggesting that we go down to about $75,000 on Bitcoin. So that's kind of just the most likely level. I did forget to tell everyone I'm live, so let me do that in my Telegram chat right now. So right now, I just see more downside for Bitcoin to about $75,000. Again, if you guys have a request for altcoins, let me know and I'll look at them. But right now, I see more downside for Bitcoin. So let's kind of start on the daily time frame and work our way down. We can even start on the weekly. The weekly is curving up, but it's kind of lackluster at this point, and I don't like it. 5-day looks fine to me. It's curving up just fine. 3-day time frame, that's not looking healthy. The 5-day looks healthy on the curvature of the stock RSI, but it doesn't look great, to be frank with you. If you look at the 3-day, that's just going, there's not a lot of volume there. The daily made a lower high. The 2-day time frame right now is rolling over. I'd be surprised at this point if we do not make a lower low. 12-hour time frame is trying to make a higher low. That's a good sign. 8 hours trying to make a higher low, but you never got oversold just yet, so it can't really bounce yet. Your next support to the downside is 82,200. And if we jump down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see the 4-hour time frame got oversold, trying to bounce. That's kind of a lackluster bounce on the stock RSI, but it is a bounce nonetheless. 2-hour time frame about to make a lower high, and the 1-hour time frame at this point, this looks like a bear flag on the 1 hour for Bitcoin. So I'm not in any positions on Bitcoin right now, but this looks like a bear flag on the 1 hour. And I will get you the measured move here momentarily, but it's not looking great. Even if you're conservative with this measured move, it's still going to take you down. Next stop would be about 80,000 exactly. So I see a bear flag on the 1 hour with a measure move of 80,000. The only way we could really negate this is if we really get a move above 88,003, or I guess you could even say 88,000, just 88K. If we don't break 88K, I see more downside for Bitcoin. If we get back above 88K, we'll be fine. Otherwise, the measure move, I appreciate the likes on TikTok. Otherwise, the measure move to the downside is 80,000. So I do see more downside for Bitcoin. I'm not shorting it yet, but I'm currently in 2 short positions, a heavy short position on SHIB on 2 different exchanges, and a short on Zcash on the weekly time frame. So I am more bearish than bullish, even on Bitcoin. So Right now, Bitcoin is in a bear market. I just see it happening. I mean, we've been below the 200-day moving average for over 2 weeks now, and anytime that happens, I think that it's considered a bear market. You lost it around the 3rd of November, so it's been nearly a month. We've been below the 200, and we're nowhere near it. The daily 200 is sitting all the way up at 110. So right now, I see more downside. Daily just made a lower high and rolling over. I would be surprised if we don't get a retest or at least 80,000 visits down there. So a double bottom there, maybe, but I'm looking for at least one, probably a retest of 80K at least one more time. And if you lose 80K, then you're gonna go to 75K. So let me look at the 15-minute time frame. 15-minute time frame kind of lackluster. You could say that it got a pump, and now you're going sideways trying to make a bull flag. Maybe the smaller time frames are, but at the end of the day, it doesn't look good. And at this point, I see more downside again. Like the 10-minute is making a left shoulder. That's a head, and that's a right shoulder, and it's likely to dump at this point. So we'll see what happens, but I see more downside for Bitcoin. It is pretty simple to me that we're going to go down to 80K, and if you lose 80K, you're going down to 75,000. That's a head and shoulders pattern if I've ever seen one. And then this is your neckline. And there's no reason that we can't just start to dump here. And that would take you down to about 85K. So at the end of the day, I see a head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin likely going to 85K next, then 80K, and then 75K. It just looks most likely that we continue to the downside. So, with that being said, that's my take on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dumps a lot of other things it will as well. I did take a short on Shiba Inu as well, because let me go out to the daily time frame. So I took this short on the daily. Anytime you get a crazy wick like that, usually you end up filling the wick, especially when you're bearish and especially when you're below the daily 200. We're below the daily 200 on Shiba Inu. So right now I have a take profit at basically 0.00068. This is my take profit. My stop loss is the daily 200. My stop loss is above this last local high here at 8.5, I think. No, 9.2. So take profit 6.8, stop loss 9.2. That's the short I'm in. Then I'm also shorting Zcash on the weekly time frame because I'm going to be taking profits on this trade when the weekly touches the 21 at around 227. So right now, those are the two positions. I took a short on Shiba on the daily and a short on Zcash on the weekly. Take profit about 213 actually at the 21-day moving average on Zcash. So those are the two things I see playing out. And so those are the shorts I'm in. They're both swing trades, obviously. One on the daily, one on the weekly, but I see more downside for a lot of these assets. And that's just what I see going on. And I see more downside for Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens, but that's kind of a quick update on Bitcoin. I see the next stop is the head and shoulders pattern with a measure move of 84.9, basically 85K. And you have a lot of liquidity sitting down there at $80,000 and $75,000. So I would be surprised if we don't at least get a double bottom or a lower low. So 80K is the next target that I really see, and then 75K. Those are the next macro targets to the downside if we continue lower. 85K will probably be a stopping point, but I don't see us stopping at 85K. So, do cold showers help with profitability? I'm not sure about that, but I do that. That's an interesting question. I don't know where that came from, but once in a while I do them. I do more so cold plunges, not cold showers, but I don't know. I've never thought about that actually. It clears your brain, so maybe. If you're in the right state of mind, I guess it could. Who knows? Anywho, if you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below and I'll look at them. But that's kind of what I see going on for Bitcoin right now. Is really more downside and we go down the 5-minute time frame, but at the end of the day, I see us continuing this dump at some point. This is a head and shoulders pattern, and you can definitely see it when you look at the 5-minute left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So if this does not dump, I'd be pretty surprised. So that's kind of my update. I see more downside, probably down to about 80,000 for Bitcoin, and then 75K if you lose 80K and make a lower low. And it's really that simple. There's not much more to talk about. I'll be back live on Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Time. But for short-term price action analysis, I see more downside on Bitcoin. Barefoot, thank you for the likes on TikTok. I do appreciate that. So my biggest position right now is a short on Shiba Inu. And I have a small position on MEXC, but I have a very large position on Blowfin. You can copy trade me on Blowfin if you want to, but that's kind of what we got going on. Up $23 on the Shiba short. This again is a very small. I have 50,000 Shiba Inu in this trade, and in the other position I'm Blowfin it's like 350,000 or 350 million. I don't know what it is. It's a lot of zeros. And Zcash, I'm up $90 on this. Remember this account? I started with just what? I think I started this account with 200. I cashed out the initial 200. Now it's back at 190. So it's doing decent. It's doing decent. Yeah. But that's kind of what the trade we got cooking right now. I still have the long on BitGet. That's taking forever. I want to sell that at $95,000. I have to log in. I don't want to log in. Never mind. So I still have that long. That's taking forever to play out on BitGet. I want to sell that at 95K. That could be a while before that ever gets sold at the rate we're going. I really hope we don't dump. I hope I'm wrong, because if we don't dump now, that'd be great. I still want to see 95K before we go lower, but I don't know if I'm going to get my wish. We got up to just about above 93, and I don't know if we'll get 95K. We'll see. There's a chance we get it if we get back above 88K, 87.4, I'd say. If we get back above 87.4, we can be bullish again. Until we break 87.4 to the upside, I see more downside for Bitcoin. It's really that simple, and I will kind of leave it at that. There's not much more to really go over besides that. That's just kind of what I see going on. How is Solana looking? Let's go look at Solana. Honestly, I don't think Solana's looking great, but we'll look at Solana. Solana in a falling wedge, but again, you lost a daily 200 and you've been below it ever since the 4th of November. This is over a month now. I would say Solana is also in a bear market because you've been below the daily 200 for over 2 weeks. You're in a falling wedge, but you're making lower lows and lower highs, and you're below the daily 200. So to me at this point, I wouldn't really play this falling wedge anymore because you lost a 200 and you're in a massive downtrend making lower highs and lower lows. So at this point, you were in a falling wedge, but the chance it really plays out at this point is low. You're about to make another lower low at 122. And if you lose a daily 200, your next step is the 2-day. You've already lost that. Then you can look for the 3-day. You've already lost that. And the 4-day was already lost. The 5-day is the next stop, which you're touching and flirting with for the last week or so, 2 weeks. The 6-day is really the next step I see for Solana, probably down to 108. I would be surprised if we don't hit 108 unless Bitcoin gets a major pump back above 93K. And then you see this weekly is probably really your next target if the 6-day loses the 200 down at 103. So I see Bitcoin probably retesting the close to $100, and then your next support below $100 is $96. So I gotta be honest with you. If Solana cannot reclaim 145, which is resistance, I see Solana eventually coming down to about $100 to $103. I'm sorry, $96 to $103 as support. So Solana to me looks bad on the macro time frame. The 4-hour time frame is also below the 200. So I see more downside for Solana. Again, even on the 4-hour time frame, you have major resistance around 144. So I see more downside. 1 hour is well below the 200. You still have major resistance, around 144. You could even say the 200 will be resistance on the 1 hour around 137. So I don't see a pump coming for Solana anytime soon, especially if Bitcoin continues to struggle. 15 minutes also below the 200. It just looks awful. So I see major resistance around 137 to 144, and if you can't break those levels, I see more downside to about $96 on Solana. So at least short term, you must break 137. Otherwise, I see $96 coming for Solana. That's my update on Solana. It looks horrible. I'm sorry, but that's what I see going on. Thank you for the follow, Johnny Bravo. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for 1,000 likes on TikTok. I appreciate that as well. By the way, we're live on YouTube as well, so feel free to go check me out there. That way you can see the entire screen. But with that being said, that's kind of my update. The trend's your friend till the end. Right now, the trend is obviously to the downside. Trend is your friend until the end, baby. There's really nothing else to go over. I see more downside for Bitcoin. I see this as a head and shoulders pattern. This has a measure move of about 85,000. But again, going back to Bookmap, I see more liquidity at 80,000, and then on the weekly 75. I'd be surprised if we don't hit these levels at some point in the next few weeks. That's my update. I will see you guys Saturday 9 p.m. Central Time in the next update and live stream. Until then, trade safe. Have a great one. Be on the lookout on YouTube and TikTok for my new videos. I'll be posting throughout the week. I'll be posting some YouTube videos and TikTok videos before my next live stream. But my next live stream will be Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Time. Until then, trade safe. Always use a stop loss. And it's a tough market. So just be tough, because it's going to be a rough few months, because I do believe we're in a bear market. But if we are, the good thing is you can buy Bitcoin at really cheap discount rates. And I love that. I love that so much. That's awesome. And that's how you get wealthy. The richest people got wealthy in the bear market, not the bull market. Obviously, they sold maybe at the end of the bull market, but they got wealthy because the bear market gave them such good prices. So that's the silver lining in a bear market. And I believe Bitcoin is in one 100% now. So that's my update. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you want to really say Bitcoin is not in a bear market, you must reclaim the daily 200. And that's coming in at 109. Until you get back above the daily 200-day moving average for Bitcoin, I'm not going to say we're in a bull market. So right now, we've been below it for over 2 weeks. We're in a bear market. End of discussion. And I'm officially saying we're in a bear market. It is what it is. And until you reclaim that level or the daily 200, there's really no reason to say that we're in a bull market. There's just not. That's all I got, you guys. Have a great night, and adios. Thank you for stopping by. Cheers. I'll see you guys on Saturday. It just looks rough. It really